Hey there everybody, just want to get a Prot Paladin 10-man point of view for Firelands Heroic. My guild and I have been clearing Firelands Heroic since week 2, and so I've got a decent amount of experience going on with that, but by no means do I think I'm a very good or great tank. So during this process of watching the video, if you see anything that you think I could be doing better, please let me know. But hopefully this works as a kind of guide for those new Prot Paladins. Been seeing a lot of new Prot Paladins joining up for helping their guilds and whatnot to try and keep clearing out. And maybe this will help you clear out Heroic Firelands before we hit Dragon Soul. The main game of this video, Dragon Soul, is coming out PTR number 2 this weekend, so we're very soon going to have the actual real deal Dragon Soul release here soon. So hopefully this kind of helps you out and finish up Firelands.
Alright, so the first boss here we've got is Beth'tilac. It's just an ad fight here. Just want to be picking up the ads that spawn in, mainly the drone that spawns in. So first little bit here, just kind of sitting around, not really doing much. Wait for these spinners to drop down. You want to taunt them. Drop them down. My Righteous Defense macro was not working to taunt them, so you just use that without a macro and it seemed to work just fine. I just don't have that recorded for this video. But taunt the spinners down, DPS them down. Look out for the drone, spawns on the left side of the map there. Alright, first drone's in. Go there, pick that up. Occasionally it will fixate on a random target in the raid on the floor here. So until that part, just focus it down, DPS it. Pop cooldowns if you feel you're taking a little bit of damage there, but usually it's not too heavy here. You don't really need them too much unless the healers are busy with everyone else when there's a lot of ads going on. Make sure whoever is focused comes to you, brings it to you, so you keep away from those little spiders. If it gets close to a little spider there, it will heal up, and you don't want to do with that. Just keep it away from those spawning locations on the edge of the map. DPS should be dealing with that. When it's down, just go back to the middle of the map, look for the healing ring. If you have a shaman doing that, stand in that and just rinse and repeat for those spinners. Taunt them down, kill them. Look out for drone. You usually get 4 drones throughout the fight here. If your DPS is not high enough, you may have multiple drones at the same time. Usually I find that happens about the second or third drone when we have multiple drones. And so you just want to make sure you are keeping them those cooldowns for yourself there in case you have multiple drones on you. But if your DPS is high enough, you don't have to worry about that. So it's really just a matter of where you're at with your DPS and how that works out for you. There are spinners up that I cannot reach right now with my taunt, so if you have other melee who can taunt, they should be taunting and bringing those spinners to you. Just depends on if you have that or not. This is one of our first runs where I was the only paladin. Our other paladin had swapped over to a warlock just to get some gear on that in case we want to use that for Dragon Soul. And so you'll see I have to switch from my aura over to concentration order, which should have already been up there, but that's on me. I didn't have that up to begin with. But again, just kind of rinse repeat. Keep the drone back here. It's pretty well equidistant from all the spawning locations here. That's why I keep it in this kind of corner of the map, if you will. That way, no matter where the spawns are coming from, you don't really have to worry about them. Again, if the DPS isn't high enough, they're having trouble with the ads and whatnot, then you might have to drag it around a little bit, but it kind of depends on where you're at with DPS wise. Last drone coming up here. Same old, same old. It's always nice when it gets fixated on you. You don't have to worry about moving or anything. This drone should be done about when it's time to transition, and Beth'tilac coming down. Just got the call for phase 2, so you can help out the ads if you need to. Usually though, I find that by the time I get over there, they're dead. There's not much for me to do there. Just waiting for Beth to come down. Main tank is getting it. At this point, main tank's going to face it away from the group. You want to stand on a side. And I noticed that, that side, when I take it, was a little bit too close maybe for the right group, so I swapped to the other leg here. Again, you're really just kind of getting to the other side there. And you're waiting for Widow's Kiss to go off. You see the timer there. Got 8 seconds left on that. When the main tank gets Widow's Kiss, then you can taunt the boss and take the boss. It's here where I had to switch concentration order. Like I said, should already have that up there. So a little miscommunication there, but that's all good. Now I've got the boss, rolling cooldowns as I need to. Less has happened here. And it's just a matter of burning the boss down, really. So just stay alive. Whenever Widow's Kiss is about to be applied to you, tank will taunt off of you. There are other strategies you could use where you could just take the Widow's Kiss and keep the boss on the main tank if you really need to, depending on how your gear is and things, if you don't really need to be tanking the boss there. But it's really just whatever y'all need. So now you see I've got Widow's Kiss on me, main tank has the boss. That way when I'm doing this AoE damage, I'm not around anybody, and I'm not, taking any extra damage from the boss while it's going out. Easy kill. Alright, so next boss here is Alysrazor. Just DPS Alysrazor as she's coming in and going across the field here, and then put some damage in on this Initiate. Just free damage, why not? But the main thing here for this first phase is you want to be next to these molten eggs. They are not tauntable, they are only proximity based, so once they spawn, they'll put a buff on somebody, and you want to be the closest target, because that's who will get the buff, and then you'll do extra damage, and it will stay on you till one of you dies. Now, as this fight goes on, it will randomly enrage, become really big, and hit really hard. The only way to get rid of that enrage is for it to eat these worms. So be careful of all the fire and the worm damage itself there. Sometimes you'll find that, you'll just need to go ahead and eat a worm, so that the worms go away, because you want to get these worms off the field. The only way to get rid of them is to have the bird eat them. So this first bird actually did not enrage for me, but I went ahead and got it to eat both worms. Then you want to find Alysrazor in the air and line of sight it with the meteor. Doesn't matter which meteor, if you have multiple ones or not, but just line of sight, and that way you're free of the damage from this AoE damage that will do this cast from the ground here. It says hide behind the rock, and rinse repeat. So you just want to coordinate with your other tank there on which worms you are dealing with, and maybe use some world markers, whatnot. We've done this plenty of times, so we pretty well know which ones we're dealing with here. I'm staying on this side of the map and take care of the two worms that spawn on this side. Main tank's taking care of the two spawn on the other side there. Again, get close, so it focuses on you. So this time I'm taking towards the blue marker and this other worm down here. I usually find about 60% I'll go ahead and have it eat a worm if it hasn't enraged by that time. Pop a cooldown when it enrages though. Like right there, it was really close, so I didn't have to worry about popping a cooldown. Got lucky that I was already dragging it over there. But that's when you want to pop one of your major cooldowns, is when it has enraged, so you survive through that just fine. And that got a little bit closer than I meant to, so I ate a little early, but again, I've got cooldowns, so I could survive the enrage mechanic. If it happens to enrage, it doesn't this time around. So again, just kind of play around with what works for you, how much damage you're doing. A little practice there, you can realize about when you could go ahead and start killing it and not have to worry about the enrage mechanic. This will happen for 3 times. You'll do 3 sets of eggs before moving on into the second phase. So same old, rinse, repeat. doing the same stuff with the eggs. And the worms are random spawns. They spawn kind of on one half of the map versus the other, which is why my tank and myself have spawned, or taken these halves of the map. My healer died here, so I had to pop some cooldowns here to survive, make sure I was okay, until we got him up. So even though they hadn't enraged there, I needed to survive, obviously, because I didn't have a healer. Go and eat that worm, because why not? Watch out for line of sighting your healers with the meteors. Sometimes the meteors are in bad spots there. Gonna eat that worm a little quick, but knew we were about to transition and got cooldown, so knew I'd be able to survive the damage if I needed to. But it didn't enrage at all. Again, sometimes they enrage a lot, twice, and you gotta eat both worms because of that. Sometimes they don't. It's this phase here, just dodge the tornadoes, just do what I do here, pick a part of the map there and just keep finding one to the right and just keep following that one. When the next one passes, follow it, and just keep running around in a circle there and you'll never take any damage. Some people might get killed by it. See if we got a loss of shaman there. It happens. Usually pretty recoverable. Not that big a deal, honestly, unless you got a lot of deaths going on there, but you shouldn't really be dying there. DPS the boss. Two ads will come in. Two claw shapers. You want to interrupt their cast, bring them to the boss, and keep them interrupted. Ignition there helps bring the boss up. Now, I'm going to go and pause the video here just real quick because we're about to kill the boss here, and that's that. There is more to this fight, but we killed it quickly enough where we didn't have to deal with it. When the boss comes up, you want to have your main tank face it away from the raid, and then you're just helping DPS a little bit, stand off to the side, taunt off when you need to taunt off there. There's a couple stacks that maybe when the boss is putting a little buff there, debuff on the tank there, and tank swap that if you need to. If you end up getting through this phase here, boss will go back to the air and it just completely rinse and repeat here on this. So again, our DPS is high enough where we just go ahead and kill it before it even pops up at all. So we don't have to worry about that mechanic at all. But just depending on where you are at with your raid team and whatnot, maybe you have to worry about that. But that's the entire fight. If you go through this whole thing, boss goes up in the air, deal with the eggs again until the boss is dead. Rinse, repeat, and that's it. Alright, next boss here is Lord Rhyolith. This is a one tank fight. There's really nothing that you need to do as an off tank at all. If you have a DPS set, by all means swap to that and DPS. I have a holy set as mine, and occasionally I'll goof around, and pop that on and just do damage, just for kicks and giggles there. But there's nothing for you to do as an off tank. So I'll just let this play through. You really could use D-Sac there towards the end whenever he becomes fully enraged there and whatnot, and when you break all his armor off. Otherwise, you're just making sure you deal the DPS that you need to the right leg, the right foot there, and listen up for callouts. You can throw out some AoE stuffs and whatnot if you want to, but honestly, like I said, this is a one tank fight. You are not needed to tank this at all. So feel free to do something different. If you need a heal. If you need to DPS, if you have a set for it, DPS. But there you go. I'll just let this play through. And there you go. And did boss. Alright, next boss here is Shannox. We've done several different strategies with this. At this point, we are just keeping the boss in the same location. We are not running away from him or anything. You may need to do something like that in order to drop your stack, so I'll discuss that as the fight is going on here. This is not our cleanest kill, but you know, it's a decent enough kill here to kind of show you the strategy that we're using and whatnot. And so as the boss is coming up here, we had a countdown timer, but I just had to call audible on this because he was getting closer than our timer was, because you never can really tell exactly how far he's going to be. So I went and just counted down for the group here and pulled it. And just tank the boss here. Turn away from raid, obviously, so that you don't worry about any cleave damage he will do. And so now I've got one stack of the debuff. Occasionally, you'll have this randomly drop off. It didn't happen in this recorded video here, but it seems like every other kill it just randomly will drop off, and I won't have to worry about the stack at all, and it's an easy kill. So save your cooldowns, your bigger ones, for when you're getting up there in stacks. Usually around 5+ stacks is when you really start to take some heavy damage there. I end up getting to 9 stacks in this fight. But all you're really worried about here, you're just tanking Shannox here. Just keep him faced away from the raid. If an immolation trap spawns on you, just adjust your footing. Get out from under it so it doesn't pop on you, because you do not want that damage on top of everything you're doing here. So that's that immolation trap there. Send it away from it. Again, just be aware of the positioning there, so you're not moving it towards your group. Now I'm at 5 stacks here, and so I'm starting to look, kind of watch my damage going out here and whatnot. Look out for those lines when he throws his spear. Don't want to take that damage there. Like I said, sometimes you get lucky and around 5 stacks it'll just drop. You won't have that extra damage. But that just seems to be with this standing still strat without moving him around. It's just luck of the draw. So I've already popped 1 cooldown because I'm in 7 stacks now. We're on 30% on the boss here, so much longer to go. Pop another cooldown there. Again, not our cleanest kill. We've lost a DPS. That usually doesn't happen for us, but this wasn't a clean kill for us, but decent enough for the video. Now I'm up to 9 stacks. You see I'm a 61k dot here that's ticking on me. That's a lot of damage, and that's just, at this point I've used my heavy cooldowns. So I've just got lay on hands is the only thing left to use. So I hit that and just hope for the best. 10 stacks now, and that's not, you can't really survive that. You're gonna go down. Don't matter who you are. Doesn't matter, just try and DPS the boss before he kills you, really. And so I'm about to die here, but we've only got a few % left. We're losing people. Like I said, not a clean kill by any means here. He actually threw a spear around on my location, which is kind of funny to kill me with it, but with dots and stuff, he ends up dying, and there you go. So again, not the cleanest kill, not the greatest kill, but just kind of showing you can stand still if the healers have enough gear, and you as a tank also can take that. Again, before we were at a different location, and I was swapping off at the second spear throw to drop that stacks at around 5 stacks. That way I wasn't really getting above 5 stacks. But we found that with the gear, it really wasn't necessary anymore to do that. And even though I, did really clean it, get a clean kill here, still a kill. And there you go. Usually we have everybody alive and there's no issues there. I just don't have a good recording of that. My recording kind of fuzzed out on me there. So, but there you go, another kill. Alright, Baleroc. This is a 1 tank fight, or you can make it a 1 tank fight. We're just used to doing it as 2 tanks, and so just kind of show you the strategy we're using that for this fight here. The first part here, I will take the entire whole duration of one of the first set of shards here, and so you'll want to be ready for your cooldowns with that. Up to 10 stacks so that you're not really taking much damage, so it's pretty safe. Pretty easy, but after that you're going to want to get your cooldowns going. So it spawns in, I'm next to it, I'm taking the entire duration, it goes up to 27, and so you just want to keep your cooldowns ready for that. So got that going on, already got 12 stacks and 15 stacks, we have first cooldown going on, so notice it was getting healed pretty easily there. Now I'm around 20, getting ready to get another cooldown going on, so pop that, 23. Pop another one here. And there you go, safe, safe, safe. So probably could have used my cooldowns a little bit, sooner than that. Honestly, waited on my Guardian a little bit too late there. Then lay on hands on the main tank here, just because a little extra healing on him. So that's the only time he can possibly die. Really, he's a good tank and he does the cooldowns really well and everything. So the only time he can usually goes down is during that first little bit when there's got heavy damage going out there and the healers don't have their buff to do extra healing. So I swapped on to the tank here, and I end up taking the boss here for 3 stacks, so I have enough health to survive Decimation Blade. That's really the only mechanic that I'm tanking for now. Again, this is one tankable, but it's just kind of how we decided to do things. So now I've got enough health to where I can take a Decimation Blade hit, and survive it. And so I'm just pretty much sitting around just waiting for that. If you need to, you might be able to help out with shards, but honestly, you really shouldn't have to. Only in the worst case scenario should you help out with shards. Really, you shouldn't have to worry about doing that. Makes things a little bit messier for you. Decimation Blade's about to come up here soon, I believe. Maybe just run through your rotation like usual until then. Okay, now is Decimation Blade. You're looking for when the tank gets hit. When that main tank gets hit, you want to taunt immediately. So he dodged that or immuned that, didn't get that hit. He got that one, so you taunt immediately. That way, what this does is it gives your healers extra time to heal up your main tank, and that way you don't have to worry about wiping because the tank got killed from the Decimation Blade. There's a very short window of time between each hit of Decimation Blade to heal up your tank is doable. But we just find this is safer, just easier. We don't need the 3rd healer, so might as well just do it this way, since I only have a holy set. If I had a ret set, probably just switch over to ret set and do DPS and, let the main tank just do it all himself there. Because it's pretty doable. A lot of groups do it one tank. And then you just, like I said, just waiting around for the Decimation Blade there, and taking off when you need to. Every now and then take some extra damage here. Usually doesn't get hit too hard and have any issues, unless the healers just get their stacks messed up. Then he might end up dying, but it's usually not an issue. Healers are really good, so that rarely ever happens. So Decimation Blade's out again. Looking at my tank's health there. See when he hits. Okay, he hit. But I realized he didn't take much damage, so I just let him get healed up real quick. Okay, they took a lot there, so I taunted. And he actually hit me last time. I didn't take the damage there, but this time I got it. But so I got healed up really quick. Just like it's supposed to happen. Easy peasy. This main tank takes it back, and that's it. That's all there is to it for an off tank here. Let's just run out to the rest of the video here for you. The rest of the kill here, but honestly, that's the whole fight for an off tank. And another dead boss. Alright, so next boss here, Majordomo Staghelm. It is another one tank fight, and there are also strategies where you can have them kind of like on a side here to bait the orbs, but we found that just didn't really work out too well for us, so we never really got that down too easily. So we just decided to tank this, and I just absorb the orb damage and kind of help swap off with the main tank there. That's really all I'm doing. Again, if I had a ret set, I would just be doing damage here, wouldn't even have to worry about my prot set. We do one heal this. Our priest here just kind of takes over there and just he does all the healing for us. You get that extra damage going on there. Pretty easy fight. All you have to really worry about is the transitions and just soaking the orbs. So there are the ways you can do this fight here where you can keep them in one form if you really want to, but we just prefer keeping them swapping so I don't worry about those extra mechanics. Just no need to deal with those mechanics. So we stack up when we need to before he gets full energy. So he turns into the Scorpion. And then we'll run out when we need to before he gets to full energy again, so that way he turns back. And he keeps swapping between his 3 forms there. So Burning Worms are going out there, look for those. And we got a decent placement here for this first set. And again, you're just going to go soak those. Usually just taunt off about, or not taunt off, usually go out and soak those about 6-ish stacks, somewhere in there. Pop a cooldown, you got plenty. If you got your trinket, use your trinket during that. Plenty of easy ways to survive that damage. Again, this is just making the fight easy for us, honestly. We could one tank this and bait it, but we just usually do this just because it's usually pretty easy, pretty quick. So there you go. And that's all you really got to do. Just again, pay attention if you need to be stacking with the group at the tail end there, or if you need to stay unstacked there whenever you're running around. That way you make sure you're taking care of that as you need. I usually tend to stand on the same side of the boss here. It doesn't really matter where you stand, honestly, throughout the fight. You just want to make sure you're paying attention to those orbs and looking out for giving room for people who get seeds, so that when they blow up, they have room to run around and be safe there. I usually just pick this side here just because I feel like it. Really no rhyme or reason to it. And that's really all there is to the fight. It's just rinse, repeat. Now, when the orbs do come out, you can do a better job than I did on this recording. You'll see this next set of orbs here. I didn't do too well with the stacking, and I could have done a little bit better job there. But again, it's all about just keeping those orbs off the other players so they keep their buff. Because you don't need the buff. They do. So these orbs are a bad set. I should have gone and ran to this right hand side on the right screen there. I should have gone that much sooner than I did. Just was slow thinking there. And then I should have just gotten off the tank here. We ended up going back and forth here, and that's just totally on me. I should have gotten away from the tank, let him position things. Ended up working out. Healer healed us through it and everything. We're fine. But again, that's just bad play on my part. I should have gotten out of the way, let the boss get positioned by the main tank, and then start soaking. So I took higher stacks than I usually do, went to 13, because I want to make sure that the main tank had his stacks drop off. And usually when the orbs are kind of in a bad position like this, you really want to get just really back behind the boss, or the tank there. And ignore that little opening up my my talent tree there. I think what happened there was I usually late night raiding, and usually have my infant in my lap there sleeping. I think she kind of rolled over and smacked my keyboard there for me. And it's just rinse and repeat. There's really nothing else to the fight here. Just soak in the orbs, and that's your only role here. Do damage as you can. Kill the boss. Every now and then you get nice and lucky with some really good orb position like that. It is random, by the way, on the orbs. They can spawn anywhere on the map, which is why some groups try to bait them by holding the boss on the corner. But that just never really worked out for us, so we stopped trying that out. another boss down, one to go. Alright, last boss here, Ragnaros. There's a lot going on in this fight, a lot of mechanics here, so let's kind of walk through as we go through each mechanic. First part here, you want to stand separate from your tank here, give some space, because the hand of Ragnaros, he will smack people around randomly, as he just did the main tank there, and you don't want to both get hit by that. That's just kind of unnecessary damage and positioning for you both. So stand apart so you both don't get hit by that. Now you want to taunt about 3 or 4 stacks of this buff he's given you, and that allows you to do extra damage, so that's why I usually let the main tank get up to 4 stacks there, get that extra damage going on. But you don't want to take it too high because obviously you're taking a lot of damage at the same time. I do like to go ahead and pop my Guardian here, just because you have a lot of time in this fight, and it will be back up when I need it, and I'll explain when I need it again as we get to that part of the fight here. So I go and pop it now just for some extra damage mitigation, because why not? Taunt off each other about 3 or 4 stacks. Again, just kind of work with your main tank there to see what amount they're comfortable with and your healers are comfortable healing through. But that's all there is. Watch out for the smash. If you're in melee range like we are, you never have to worry about that. Even if it lands like it landed right behind the main tank there, it does nothing to you. So you can just completely ignore if you are right up next to the boss here. Just gonna let this keep going till we get to the phase transition. Alright, so at 70% here, he transitions. At this point, he's going to throw down Ragnaros to spawn a whole bunch of adds. And so, throw down his mace there, pick a side between you and the tank. Use your stun AoEs, your hand, you get those things stunned so they don't make it to the hammer. If any of those make it to the hammer, it's a wipe. So this helps DPS things down. As they take damage, they get slower. So keep that in mind. And then, like I only had a couple over there and they're already dead. Don't run into the hammer because it will hurt you. And I usually like to try and let the main tank take it here, if possible. Sometimes it'll still, Ragnaros will still be hitting me, and that's fine. Not a really big deal. But I do like to have the main tank take it for these seeds. So when seeds start coming out, you want to start running away, because that will kill you. I taunt off the boss here. That way he can help DPS the adds, because he does more DPS than me, obviously, as a DK. Pop a cooldown if you need to here. Obviously, with raid cooldowns going on, you should be coordinating with your group on what raid cooldowns are used when. Help throw some damage out on those adds. And then watch out for flames. You want to be max melee distance here, because that right there, that will hurt a lot and will likely kill you if you have low gear. So stay max melee range, that way you can just either run in or run out really quickly, really easily. And now, that cast came pretty quickly. As you see, I went ahead and ran into a corner there. That way I don't get hit by it. Don't get risky on that, there's no need to. I could have ran in, but I might have gotten hit by the waves, and that could be extra damage. Could have been a death, who knows, depending on what else is going on there. Just unnecessary damage, don't take it. Play it safe. Rinse, repeat. Seeds are coming in, run away. Taunt off the boss. Now, at this part here, our raid is set where I desack here. This is why I use my Guardian first, because I can desack the raid and then use Guardian for myself, and everyone stays nice and healthy for this explosion. That's why I use my Guardian first there in that first phase there when I took over tanking, because it's up by the time I need it. Adjust as necessary, of course. Now, I'll pause the video here real quick just for a second, because you can see the boss is already down to 44% here. At 40%, he does his third transition into phase 3, excuse me. And so, at this point, depending on how your DPS is, you may want to wait on this to get another set of adds to run and get those seeds going, so you have an extra time to do DPS to the boss. It just depends on how much damage you all are doing and what you need to do for your raid group. We used to do 3 rounds of seeds, but now we're just down to 2. So just watch out again for the flames. Same old there.
Now this time when he phase transitions, still have all those little adds, but he's going to spawn in 2 big ones as well. And those have to be picked up by the tanks. So again, pick up your side, whichever your side you're going to. Discuss that with your main tank there. It's always random. It happened to be that he hit his hammer down the same spot both times for us in this video, but it's completely random. He can hit it anywhere on the map. So just, again, be ready for those callouts. Again, you want to stun those Sons of Flames. But your main job is to get that Scion once you've done your stunning stuff and run it and group up with the other Scion. Pop cooldowns if you need to. Leave them down. This phase will transition when the last of those little adds dies. And you have to do that before the timer is up there. So pay attention to your timer, because if you don't kill it in time and it's still up, then it's just a wipe anyway. So the Scion's down. It is okay if a Scion or both is still alive. You can still kind of cleave those down, but always best to go ahead and kill them as quickly as possible before transitioning, because now you're wanting to burn down to 10%. Meteors will spawn in here. As you can see, we got a meteor in 33 seconds. You want to try and get only 1 meteor. So you just want to do as much damage as you can, pop your big cooldowns, your wings, all that good stuff there, and just do as much damage as you possibly can. Still dealing with the taunting. That taunting off at 3 or 4 stacks does not go away through the entire fight. So be aware of your stacks and your main tank stacks. Also, this phase, he will continuously do every so often those lava. So you gotta watch out for that. The World in Flames is a mechanic that can catch you off guard, because there's a lot going on in this fight. So we've got our first meteor in. That one's a guarantee. You're always going to have at least 1 meteor for sure. Here I take damage because I was too close. I wasn't paying attention to that timer. So I was too close on that. That gets done. And we're almost down. You see we're close to the timer here. We got 10 seconds left before the next meteor comes in, and we got 1.5% left to get to phase 2. And we end up making the timer here, so we're good. He doesn't get the second meteor off. Meteors are a DPS thing. You should not have to worry about that as a tank. Now be careful here. I learned the hard way that this lava, as he's coming up, this lava will eventually become empty. And so as it's transitioning from the lava floor to the solid floor here, as you'll see, you don't know it, but you can fall through the floor here. So just be really careful about that. Don't greet it. I greeted it one time and fell all the way down, and that was not a fun time. Obviously it wiped the raid, so it's a silly thing to do. Don't get too close. Just wait till it's a solid ground there, and then go in there. Same deal with the stacks. I usually do about 3 stacks now because of the AoE on the fire from the ground going on now from Ragnaros. He does AoE fire damage. And you're looking for some stuff on the ground. So your friends here, our NPCs are here to help us out here. Kill this guy. And look for Frost Patch. That's the first thing you want to look for. And you want to drag the boss over to the Frost Patch. So we see it and we drag it over there. Eventually you'll want to pull the meteor into this Frost Patch to kill it quickly, but you want to hold on that as long as possible. Again, your job as a tank is to pay attention to callouts and look for roots, because there's a white mechanic that's coming up here. So roots casting, look for that. Okay, it's casting way over there, so pay attention to who's got the boss, what stacks they're at, and decide who's going to go run out and taunt the boss over there. Ragnaros has a huge hitbox here and can hit you from a mile away, it seems, so be careful. Usually taunt about 2-3 seconds in there, and just get on the other side, because again, he can hit you from forever away. It has happened. Sometimes it feels like it's glitched out or something going on there, maybe some lag where he's hit me and then got stunned. Even being as far as I have there, so I don't know what happens with that. Hopefully that doesn't happen to you though. Get the Frost Patch, pop a cooldown if you need to. Pop my Guardian there to make sure to survive that damage going out there from the AoE. That is constantly going on through this phase. And just rinse and repeat. The meteor's down now, so we don't have to worry about that. Again, just keep working with your tank there. taunt off at 3 or 4 stacks. Now roots casting here, sometimes that happens where it casts right on the boss, and it doesn't matter how fast you run, you can boots out if you want to. Doesn't worry, or doesn't matter there. You just can't get out in time. Boss is stunned, and this is where he's going to do his 500k white mechanic. All right. So at this point, I taunt the boss. I'm out there, taunt the boss. He's coming towards me. I get away from him. I could have boots here, but I knew he was pretty far away. Main tank taunt him. Stay within taunt range. You might want to taunt him again. Wait till that 500k on hit goes away, and then just get to a frost patch. It is one of the most annoying things that can happen because that roots is supposed to save you from that, so you could just kite him into the roots and you never worry about the 500k hit, because he catches up to you and hits you. Literally everyone takes 500k damage and it's an instant wipe. It's a late thing in the phase here, obviously in the fight, and it can be really annoying. That one had to be nice and far away, so don't worry about it. Occasionally it will be far enough away where you can pull him away from it if it's on like the edge of his hitbox there, but always err on the side of caution. You know, you don't want him to get hit by the roots until you want him to get hit by the roots. And the boss is almost dead, so this frost patch, I'm just kind of standing in it, drop my stacks there on the AoE, and then come back to the group. And that's it. That's really all there is to it. Best of luck. Alright, I hope this video has helped you all out and give a little guide for you and help you in your efforts to clearing the Firelands Heroic Tin Man. As always, if you have any comments there, help me out. I really appreciate it. If you liked anything you see, feel free to drop a like and subscribe there on the video as well. And just let me know if there's any other Cataclastic content you'd like to see, and I'll see what I can do for you.